Welcome to another episode of The Epic Family Road Trip.
This week, we make the 6-hour drive from Amarillo, Texas to Exploration Outfitters in Durant, Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta burn off some innards.
Pretending?
Yeah.
Pretending? Hey, how's it now?
So we got a opener on the outside.
Four-wheel drive to get in. It's been icy the last couple days. We're now in Durant, Oklahoma, which is right on the Texas state line, but we drove in from Amarillo, as you know, came across through some ice storms. They're getting some late February ice storms around here. So it's slick and icy outside for today and maybe tomorrow, and after that it looks like it's going to heat up. So for now we're setting up camp in the shop under that big heater, and we'll be moving probably next couple days to Texoma State Park right on a beautiful lake. But first things first, the boys have been separated from their adventure bikes since before Christmas, when they shipped them here to Oklahoma, and they are eager to see them again.
So we're finally reunited with the bikes. Man, it feels so good to have them back. Even my Christmas lights still had battery, so I don't even know what to say. Walking over here kind of felt like when we were first walking to pick them up. I was so excited to see them again, so I'm gonna take them out. Sweet. I can't wait to head out again. I know.
Hey guys, we're here in Oklahoma, just north of the Texas state line, and we're at Exploration Outfitters. I'm here with Matt, the founder and president of the company. We came here back in 2016, I believe it was, and we came with a stock Jeep, which is now, you guys know, as Vandy, and we rolled out of here with just a perfect overland vehicle. And the question we get asked a lot is, did you put all kinds of things on your Jeep that you wish you have had, or were you missing a lot of things? And the answer to that question is no, because we came here, I believe, and we did it right the first time. We talked to, instead of us guessing what we needed, we came here, we talked to the professionals. They gave us all the information out of the gate. You guys said that you probably don't need this. Here's what I think you should have. And we ended up with the perfect vehicle. Vandy's rolling all these years later. It's almost got 300,000 on it and still going strong. And a lot of the gear, like the slide outs and the stoves and the stuff you guys put in it way back then, we've been using every day, multiple times a day, and we're still using them. We've worn out a few tents, of course, but I don't know if they're designed to go up and down that many times. Be used every day. But anyway, I wanted to introduce you to Matt, and Matt, maybe tell us a bit about, other than building, well, along with building great expedition vehicles, what do you guys do here?
Yeah, so we, of course, have a full custom vehicle shop that we really expanded our capabilities, in the last year or so, as far as being able to build custom parts and fabricate, basically what anybody needs to make something work. We're also, the U.S. dealer for Patriot campers, so their entire range of camper trailers. We've just added Scout truck campers.
You can see one right behind us.
Which are really cool. We're really excited about that. And kind of, there's a market. Some people would prefer not to tow a trailer, and so, but still want, nice comfort and some adaptability. So we're excited about those. And then we also, we build and sell turnkey vehicles and stuff like that. So kind of all encompassing as far as adventure vehicles and outfitting goes.
Yeah, and then you have all the small gear too, like Max tracks, and pretty much anything you think you need, you've got it here. So yeah, they can take your stock vehicle and turn it into what you need, and that's I think was the benefit. You ask questions, what kind of travel are you going to be doing? Are you doing trails every weekend, or are you trying to do long distance travel? Are you crossing different countries and continents? So you'll have that conversation and you'll end up with the right Jeep and or the right vehicle build out, and you'll save money in the long run doing that because you'll get the right stuff pretty much right out of the gate. So yeah, thanks Matt.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, they built Worsley, they built Vandy all those years ago, and now we're happy to show you this week's video where we're putting all kinds of really cool stuff on for what we're calling phase 2 of our build. Let's go take a look. All right, these are the coils we're talking about. They're made by AEV. They're called the high capacity spring coils, and they are amazing. We know that because we put them on Vandy a couple of years ago, and when we had 5 bikes, mountain bikes on the back, if you remember that, and all the weight of the fridge and the rooftop tent and everything. And we used to get a bit of sag in Vandy, and ever since we put these on, we've never had a problem. So we're looking forward to getting these on Worsley because we've had sag issues with Worsley the whole time, and now that we're extended, having a really heavy duty back end is going to be very important.
Under the parking brake. This is. Got one out.
All right, these high capacity springs are in now. I think another thing we're going to look at is we're going to try to find a set of airbags for that. That just gives another layer of stability back there, and it can also help you hold much more weight. All right, the springs are in and the airbags, so that's going to make a big difference. It's sitting up just about 3/4 of an inch. So that's what we wanted, because when we load it down, it'll probably hit level. So these have a little air bib here, so you can put in when you're putting on a lot of weight on. You just run the compressor back here and pump them up. So yeah, that should be a big improvement.
All right, so right now we're getting the amp power steps on. We got these when we were originally doing the original build on our white Jeep, our JL, and they're finally going on almost 2 years later. This is an awesome upgrade because these are like rock armor, kind of like the stock ones that are on the JL when you get it, but they also will have a power step that comes down when you open up the door, which is just nice, especially when you have lifted Jeeps. It's nice to have.
All right, so we're just talking about regearing Worsley to handle the weight and the trailer and the big wheels. We have 37s on there, and so the discussion going back and forth, and we're looking at the different ratios, but either 488s or 513s. The 513s will give it a bit more power. It'll rev the engine a little higher, but I think that's the way to go. But before we decide, we're going to take Ray's Jeep. Ray is a manager here at Exploration Outfitters, and he's got 513s. He's got 39s on his Gladiator here. Big wheels, but just to get the feel of it, we're going to take his Jeep out for a spin. So let's go try it out. We're just putting down the gas pedal here a bit, and it's got really good pickup for such a big Jeep, such a heavy vehicle. He's got a rooftop tent, all kinds of stuff on here, upgraded axles, the works, 39s, so it feels great. And I'm looking at the RPM. It doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary, so I think going like this is probably good for us because of all the weight we end up carrying. Right now the Jeeps are empty, but they won't be for long, as you know. So we're gonna let Pete take it for a spin, and maybe Carol drive it back, and then we'll see what they say.
I think for all the weight, he was saying this Gladiator weighs about 7,000 pounds now, which is even heavier than Vandy, which we think is pretty heavy. And the pickup on it is really great with this. You can get up and start going right away.
This is the way to go. 513s. the guys from Overland Radio podcast show have come up to do a little podcast session with us, so that's what's going on in the background. They're setting up their cameras and we're just going to have a conversation. So when that podcast comes out, we'll make sure to put the links in the description for you and let you know about it. But yeah, that's what we're going to do for the next hour, and then we're going to get back to the build.
Right now, we're going to be changing our Warren Xeon 10S winch line. We got Warren's new, I believe it's called the Spydura. It's like a reflective line that they have now. It's all red and black, and it's got that reflective material in it, so you can see it better at night, or it's just a lot more visible than the old gray stuff that we have. This stuff has been very good for us. We've used it a few times, most notably when we got stuck in the mountains. We used it for 3 days straight, pretty much. And yeah, it's about time we changed the stuff out and got a better line in there. So now that we spooled it all out, we're just gonna, or got it all out, just have to cut it off. This old rope we don't really care about keeping. And with it being, it has a lot of mud caked on the other side where it's held on. So we just cut the one end off. And we can spin it around and work on getting it out of the keeper. So what we're attempting to do now is there's a keeper, it's called. It's a piece of metal that you have to knock out that's holding onto the last end of the rope. This little loop of the winch line. So we're trying to knock that out with a punch, so then we can pull the rope out and then get this new one in.
While Pete was working on that, Carol and I headed out on another errand. We are here in Oklahoma. Actually, we're in Texas now, but the Vandy's not in the shop today, so we're taking it down to get an extension on the muffler. So there's a muffler shop just over the state line here in Texas, and we'll show you what we're doing with that in just a minute. Alright, finally got it. This part here was all jammed in there, and so that's where the rope goes, right here in this slot, and this keeper holds the line in place. So we were able to jam the keeper out, and then this stuff was all jammed up in there, but using punches, we just kept tapping at it until it popped out. So now we're all clear and ready for the new rope.
How does this fit through that?
Gotta be
Still not getting it in. Yeah, it's just difficult. So I actually saw online that a friend of ours, Tanner from Overland, he had just finished doing 2 of these lines on their trucks over there. So I'm gonna give him a call and ask him for some tips. Could definitely use some good information from him.
Even if somebody has like thin cable, that would be probably ideal. I use like the thickest steel picture frame wire that I can find, and it would break. So it would start to get it through, and then it would snap. But it would get through enough that then you can get in there with a liner bar or a punch, and you can just kind of like work it through. It's a thing. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Thanks for the tips.
It takes some time and patience, but you'll get it.
No, I think so. You want me? Yeah, good. I appreciate it. In the hole in there. Time and patience. And after a while, Kyle came over from the other shop and gave us a much needed hand.
Look at the forces taken. Pulling that Jeep. I mean, golly.
And before long, The line was threaded through the drum and the keeper key was set in place.
Nice. We're spooling up the winch line now. You have to do it under some kind of load. It stretches the line properly, so that when you actually go to use it in the field, it's not just hand tight. Like if you sit there and hold it with your hand to keep it tight and feed it, you're not gonna have enough, load on the line to actually stretch it enough. So when you take it out like 15 feet to attach to a tree to pull yourself out of something, when you go and pull, the line will stretch, and then that stuff that's all just loosely put on there will kind of rat nest itself, and that would not be good if you're trying to get yourself out of a sticky situation. So yeah, we got Justin's truck parked out there attached to his bumper hooks, and then my dad's out there with the winch line. He's just winching it in, and I'm sitting in Worsley now because we put it in neutral so that we could just have the Jeep pull itself. That's the load we're putting it under. And with the JL, if you put it in neutral and then hop out, it seems to do the same thing as if you tried to put it in drive with the door open. It doesn't let you.
Red Arc Electronics is a state-of-the-art battery management system that will manage the health and efficiency of our onboard batteries and allow us to stay in the wilderness and off the grid for longer periods of time.
And they'd leave you a bunch of real estate here. You could put 2 batteries up here, or 1 big one, or whatever. But it can't be very tall and fit under the goose gear. So.
All right, so what we're doing right now is just placing everything, trying to find the best spot for the Red Arc equipment and for the heaters and so on. I think we've got that kind of laid out now. Typically in a Jeeps, you're constrained by the lack of space, but with this extension, it's giving us a lot more options. So we're really happy about that. So I think the heater's gonna fit perfectly into the tub in the back here. We're mounting the diesel outside the Jeep, and then we removed the seat because we haven't used that because of the 2 Jeeps. We just don't need that seat there. And that opened up a whole area where we're gonna put the Red Arc equipment. They're gonna build a rack for that. All we have to figure out now is how much lithium we need and where to put it. So once that's figured out, we begin installing.
There, and you get that vent turnable. That grill here to where it would blow, on top of this, where it would blow heat this way. Because that's hollow on the inside.
And then would you just drill a hole with the thing going?
Yeah, we would tap it down here, probably on the back somewhere. And that way it can go inside.
Yeah.
Say, Kyle?
Yeah, probably put like a 90-degree fitting in the bottom of it and put a grommet in the side of the top and plumb it in. It'll run 4 or 5 days without any kind of incoming charge.
One of them?
The 2 of them.
2 of
That's
them.
what it's what the trailers normally have.
Yeah, we'd be running some lights, the heater, the fridge, and then we're charging a ton of cameras.
You guys normally spend the night and then drive to the next place and spend the night and
Yeah,
typically.
but we'll stay sometimes too and charge things up by solar at that point. We'll have the solar plus we have the bug out solar as well.
Right.
Like this has to be our media Jeep, and so there's cameras like that. There's a couple of big cameras, multiple GoPros, a couple of drones, laptops we're charging all the time.
It's probably a substantial inverter. The 1,000 or 1,500 watts, maybe something bigger than that.
Yeah. As long as
especially if you're wanting to be able to charge a bunch of stuff all at once.
Yeah. You recall from a couple years ago, we were going to put a snorkel on Worsley there, but the way the front runner roof rack came down, it didn't allow for a snorkel to fit in there. So now that the rack's off, we're going to go ahead and do it. It's going to look good. We've been wanting to get a snorkel on there for quite some time, and here it is. We're using an ARB Safari. On Vandy, we have the AEV snorkel, and but they were out of stock, so we're going with this. They both look great. We've seen them both on Jeeps, and they look amazing. What they're pulling out there is the mounting plate for a Pro 6 Casey light bar, and that's got to go on before the snorkel gets on. So that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, you get those started in there, and then, yeah. Because it ends up fitting back to about that rib there. So you, looks pretty good, Brent. Excellent job. And double check to make sure we like where it's at.
All right, so we're finally getting a snorkel on Worsley. This is something we wanted to do during the first stage of the build when we first bought the Jeep, but unfortunately they didn't have one for the JLU. But now we got one in and we're getting it mounted, which is awesome. It helps with river crossings, but the main reason you get a snorkel is actually for airflow and keeping your air filters clean. And so it kind of filters through all the dust and the sand that you get, especially when we're riding the desert, which we've been doing a lot recently, and we hope to do a lot more. So this is a must-have. Exciting.
That's so amazing, the difference in the looks on it. We got the Safari snorkel up, obviously, looks incredible, but then also with the Casey Pro 6 light bar up there. Right now we're just tightening it on. It's not going to be wired in yet until the red arc system's up, but it already looks so much better. It's amazing.
In our family, Mom takes care of all the details.
Nicely, and then it won't be.
And it doesn't take much to get her very excited.
It's a radio antenna.
Happy birthday.
There you go. Much nicer. Nice and clean.
Oh, and take the
Matt cut some custom racks for the rotopacks on the back. You're gonna have water on one side and diesel on the other. The diesel for the heater, but he custom engraved our EFRT into it, so that's pretty cool.
Matt.
New toys.
Let's go in the extra mile, man. All right, so we got some really awesome days in the shop this week, and the Jeep is looking amazing. I love that look with the KC lights, the snorkel, the way the suspension is sitting. Everything is just going amazing so far. Next week is exciting. Coming up, it's a lot of the interior stuff for the camper in the back. We've got the Red Vision system, the Manager 30 system, and we are putting in some lithium batteries from Battleborn, and then we're going with Webasto heaters so that we can have a really comfortable environment in there. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching this week. I appreciate you guys being part of our channel, especially our Patreon family and our sponsors. It takes all of us to make this channel work, and for that we thank you.
And in the meantime, we'll see you down the road.